Alright guys, hope you all had a good Christmas. Just want to say before we get into this, a massive thank you for all the comments that were left on my previous community post. If you don't know what I'm on about, just check that out. It's not the usual stuff I normally post on here. Normally trying to keep private stuff a little bit more private. Well, tend to stick to watch stuff, apart from like the odd little bits about Liverpool and stuff maybe. But that was a pretty personal one, but I thought I'd share it with you guys and it seemed to go down pretty well, so I appreciate that. Anyway, getting back to this. So I've been sent a couple of watches from Timor. I don't get to keep them though, because these are pretty expensive ones. So these are just in on loan. So I'm either going to send them to another channel or send them back to Timor. So Timor is a British brand, but these are actually Swiss-made watches, hence why they're probably a bit more expensive. But as I say, something a little bit different than the usual stuff I do on this channel. Not the usual budget stuff, but the question is, how do they compare to the budget ones? This isn't going to be a comparison video, but I'll probably link to some other videos of similar kinds of watches. If you haven't already seen them before, check them out. Let me know what you think. But if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll probably know all about them anyway. So enough waffling, let's get down to it. See what they're like, see what you think of them, see what I think of them. Because I've been trying them out for a bit, and they're pretty interesting. So here's the box it comes in. Well, this is the outer box anyway. I'm not going to show you both because they're the same. Just a cardboard box with the Timor branding on. Then if we take that off, put that to one side. Got a nice bit of cushioning in there to protect the actual box. Get all this out of the way. Then for the actual box, it's a nice wooden one. And then we've got some nice hinges on the back. Nice bit of padding, soft cushion in the bottom. So pretty nice overall. It's actually spring loaded as well. So again, just an overall nice piece. Not your usual cheap box. And then got the watch itself. The only other thing in here is the little Timor tag. Before I get down to actually showing you the watch, you also get this as well. She's got like the instructions and a few bits and pieces in, so I'll quickly show you that. Because there are a couple of little interesting pieces in here. So first off, you get a bit of information about the actual brand and the fact that they were one of the original 12 watches in the Dirty Dozen. So obviously made for the military, and then this is obviously a reissue. Well, one of them is. One of them's a slight variation. But we'll get down to that in a bit. And then on the back of that, you've got the specs and bits and pieces on there, but we'll go over them in a bit anyway. Other than that, we've got the warranty card, and then because this is just a review piece, it isn't actually fully filled out. Obviously if you buy one, it will be. And then they just give you some information, handy stuff about winding it and setting it. And then also about how to fit the NATO strap. Other than that, you do get this nice little metal coin type thing in the box with the Timor branding on, and then also the Union Jack, because obviously this is a British brand, and then the Heritage Field, and that picture of the watch. Just a nice little touch. That's actually metal as well. So here's the first of the two pieces, and this one is actually the reissue. So this is the Dirty Dozen kind of, well, as I say, reissue, with a few little differences from the original one. So we've got that iconic dial design that you come to expect from the Dirty Dozen. So it's a fully printed dial, nothing applied. And then we've got that Swiss made down at the bottom. It's because the movement in this is a Solita SW260. They also do it with a SW216, so they have the automatic or the mechanical hand wind only. So they give you the option. They're both the same price. And the price of this piece is actually £940. I'll get onto the other one in a minute when we talk about that. Also, with the movement on this one, this is the automatic version. They've actually removed the date position on this, so it doesn't have that. They removed the ghost date, which is a nice thing to have because obviously it doesn't have a date on the dial. So nice attention to detail with that. Seeing as we're talking about it, let's quickly show you that in action. So it's not a screw down crown, it's just a push pull. So you've got the one position and then pull it out. See the second hand is stopped, so we've got hacking. And then obviously we can just change the time, because as I say, the ghost date position has been removed. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages. And then you just hand wind from that position. So getting onto the case with this one, it's a bead blasted case, really nicely done. And then we've got the matching hardware as well, which is also bead blasted. And then, as you can see, this is on a NATO strap. Not my favourite, so I've been wearing the other one a bit more because I was on a different strap for that one. Quickly take this off and I'll show you the case back. So flip that around. And then you can see we've got the www on the back there, and then the number. This is number 120. As far as I know, they're going to be making just a limited run of these. I can't remember the actual numbers right now off the top of my head, but I'll probably leave it on screen, or as always, link's going to be down in the description if you want to check it out. So other than that, pretty simple. Got the Heritage Field, Timor logo, and then just automatic at the bottom, because this is the automatic version, as I said. But if you don't want the automatic, they also do the mechanical. But I'll show you on the dimensions in a second. This is actually pretty slim, even though it is an automatic. So now let's quickly test whether we've got sapphire crystal on this. Using the trusty diamond selector too. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So that's a bit of an upgrade obviously from the original. The original would have been acrylic probably, or a mineral crystal, something like that. So they've upgraded the bits and pieces that you'd want upgrading. Another one being which is the Lume. So I'll quickly show you now the other piece before we get into the Lume. And that's this one. So this is the Heritage Field ATP. So you can see there's a few subtle little differences with this one. The one that probably jumps out at first obviously is the dial. So obviously we've got like a cream style dial on this one. We've also got a slightly different font used on the numbers. So a couple of little subtle differences there. And then also that sub dial down at the 6. We've actually got some more printing on the ATP one. And then we've also got that waterproof written above the top. The water resistance on this, on both, is actually 50 meters. So not a great deal, but it's enough. And then again, we've got the Swiss made down at the bottom. So the only other main differences with these two, obviously between the dial, is also the case finishing. So we've got the bead blasted one on this, whereas the ATP has got a satin finish, which is really nicely done. I do really like that one. I've actually been wearing this one more than the other, but that's mainly down to this strap. So it's a really nice leather strap, and again we've got the matching hardware to go with it. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I thought they were unbranded at first, but they have actually got the branding underneath on the buckle, which is an interesting touch. Not seen that before. But getting back to the strap, in fact I'll get a zoom in so you can see it a bit better. Really nicely finished, and it's really soft as well, really supple, even though it is quite thick. So you know it's a good quality one. And we've actually got quick release on it as well, which is always good to have. And then with the case back design, again, because we've got that satin finish, it looks a bit different as opposed to the matte bead blasted one on the other piece. But again, they've kept it simple. You've got the Heritage Field ATP, the number on this one, the 44, and then again automatic, because this is the automatic one as well. But again, if you don't want the automatic, they also do just mechanical one. So the price on this one is a little bit more than the other one. This one is actually 1,100, whereas the other one was 940. I'll use this one now to do the Lume shot, so we'll check that out. So you can see we've got a little bit there already, but charge it up, give it a fair chance, because obviously this one hasn't actually been under the light like the other one as much, so it's not going to be as charged. And there we go. So, as I was saying, obviously they upgraded the Lume from the previous version. So the Lume on this is actually a C3, but it's a patinaed C3. But it is really good, especially considering how small the area is they've had to work with. I think it's pretty impressive. And you can probably see up at the 12 you've got two little dots either side of that marker, so it helps you orientate which way around you've got the watch. And overall, pretty good lume. Obviously the dial fades a little bit quicker than the hands, but that's obviously because it's just a printed dial, not applied. But other than that, pretty good lume. So all it's left to do now is show you what they're both like on wrist, and then I'll wrap this up. So here's what the WWW looks like on my 7-inch wrist on the included NATO strap. As I said, nice matching hardware again, bead blasted, same as the actual case. And again, as I said earlier, this is the more faithful, well, I suppose it's an homage of sorts, although it's by the original brand of the previous Dirty Dozen watch they did. Again, really nice compact dimensions, fits well. So even if you've got a smaller 7-inch wrist, this should fit you quite well. So I'll show you now what the other one looks like. So here's what the ATP looks like on my 7-inch wrist. Again, with that satin finish on the case, which catches the light really nicely, I think. Just adds a little bit something extra. And I do really like this strap as well. Really comfortable, really soft, really supple. Nice matching hardware. Again, you get that with both. I do really like this cream dial too. Gives a kind of vintage look, as opposed to being just white. Do like that a lot. So, when it comes to hand issues with these two watches, this might just be me, and might be because I'm used to cheaper homage watches and some micro brands and stuff. I've never had anything this expensive on the channel. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this a fair price? You're getting a reissue from one of the original brands that made the Dirty Dozen watches, so that's obviously going to be a good thing. It's got a Swiss movement, it's Swiss made. It's ticking all the boxes, I guess. But I'm not really too sure whether it is a touch overpriced, maybe. Should it be below that £1,000 mark? Let me know what you think, because again, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on this kind of thing. As I say, I tend to go for the more budget end of watches. But one thing that isn't in doubt is definitely the quality. I can't fault it at all. They're both great pieces. You've got the history, you've got the heritage, and obviously the Dirty Dozen watches are really popular. So I guess it comes down to whether you want to pay that kind of money. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I know this was a little bit different. Going to get back to the budget watches after this one, but I'll see you in the next one.